Hello one and all, it's Review Dr. Stone, Chapter 155, Science is Elegant. And the big takeaway from this is that Dr. X was Senku's science mentor. Yeah, did not see that coming, and it raises a whole bunch of questions. I mean, first and foremost, why did Senku not recognize the name? Dr. Zeno, that's not a name you're likely to forget anytime soon. Best bet for that would be that when he was reborn, when he woke up from the stone, he decided to rebrand himself. I mean, it did seem a little coincidental. The guy with a big X across his face is basically named Dr. X. I mean, I looked up Zeno to see if there's any kind of significance scientifically behind it. Best I could come up with was that Zeno is the prefix relating to a foreigner or foreigners, as in xenophobia, which makes a certain amount of sense given this is him waging war against foreigners, but I'm not sure why he would choose that name for himself. I mean, there's not a lot of X-related words, but I'm sure he could come up with one. You know, he's very smart. And next question is, what exactly was the relationship between Dr. X and Senku? I mean, I don't think it's the kind of thing where, Senku went over to his house after school and was tutored by him or anything like that. Or else, Senku would have recognized his voice, he would have recognized Senku's voice. I think it's more likely that's when Senku said that he was his science mentor, he was either referring to, him being a fan of his work, he read his research, and that's how he was mentored by him, or maybe they were, digital pen pals emailing back and forth. Because another big thing that we can't forget about is that Dr. X is a former NASA scientist. And Byakuya, Senku's adopted father, was an astronaut. That means there's a fairly good chance that these two knew each other, and that's probably how Senku got a hold of Dr. X, through Byakuya, that was the middleman. But if that's the case, that could be way more interesting than a lot of people realize, because don't forget, we don't actually know who Senku's true father is, his birth father. It might be Dr. X for all we know. Possibly, very possible. All Byakuya ever said was that it was a work colleague of his. That's all he ever told Senku, and it's not something Senku's ever been it's not something that Senku's ever been interested in. It's not something that Senku's really cared about. Byakuya was his father. He was the person that's, despite whatever he might say, he did actually care about, that he loved, and who he still misses to this day. So I don't think Senku would be too interested in finding out who his true father was, but I could certainly see Dr. X telling him. And that would just be a really interesting way to end this arc, with a big reveal that Senku's father was this person, that Senku's father was maybe responsible for the petrification. Maybe Senku's father is in fact the Y-Man. He's still alive somehow, some way up on the moon. That would just be a really cool and interesting way to end this arc. Also, I'm just now realizing the entire point of Dr. Taiju, the entire point of the fake name, the reason why the author implemented it, was so that Dr. X wouldn't realize that he was fighting against Senku, fighting against someone he knew, someone he maybe mentored in the past. Fighting against the son of Byakuya, who was quite possibly a friend of his. And I don't know if that'd be good or bad for Senku. I mean, Dr. X doesn't seem that big on emotional attachments, but he might make an exception for Senku and decide to spare his life. So if Jenna just straight up said, "Oh, it's Senku Ishigami," be like, "Senku, he was like a son to me. In fact, he was my son. No, there's no way I can harm him. I will accept him gracefully into my kingdom and accept whatever criticism and advice he might be willing to give to me." Or it could be like, "Oh, it's Senku? Oh, he's the son of that soft-hearted Byakuya. Oh, he's going to be very easy to manipulate and control." On the other hand, though, this now gives Senku a very powerful weapon. At the start of this chapter, they really weren't sure what to do, what the game plan was, because they didn't know what kind of person Dr. X was. But Senku knows exactly who he is, and will know exactly what he's planning. Personally, I think that now that Senku knows who Dr. X is, he is going to realize that his plan would obviously be to use a sniper to take him out, and from there he'll realize that Luna's dress is a sniper target, essentially, which is where Senku's counterattack is going to come in. I think he's going to offer to have her dress washed, because it got all dirty and muddy when she was running, and of course she's not going to say no to Senku. She's in love with him, which, yeah, that's a whole other topic to talk about. And while he's washing it, he's actually going to have a replacement dress made, because, Yuzu can make an outfit in all of 2 seconds flat, which has stripes that are of different sizes. So that way, when Stanley goes to take the shot at Dr. Taiju, he'll miss completely, and Senku will be able to parry the counterattack. Exactly what that is, I'm not sure. I mean, the sniper rifle takes a long time to aim, to focus, and to fire, so it's not really good against a moving target. So it could be possible that Senku could send a counteract team to go take him out while he's reloading, while he's preparing for the next shot, and they'll be able to beat him that way. A little unlikely, but possible. The other hand is maybe they'll just fake Dr. Taiju's death. They'll make it seem like he was actually hit, like he was actually wounded, and then they'll just let Stanley think that he won, that he actually managed to hit his mark and go for it from there. Yeah, they'll fake the death of a man who was a fake scientist to fake out the Green Beret hiding in the trees. I could really see that happening. Anyway, in the back of the chapter, Carlos and Max are very annoyed that Stanley is putting Luna in the crosshairs, literally, of his sniper rifle, and they have to be there for a very long time waiting for the signal to fire. I mean, seriously, it goes from day to night. It's at least 12 hours by this point. That's the reason they bought all those bottles of water. I thought it was for overheating. No, it's because they're literally going to be parked there for days on end, possibly, waiting to get the perfect shot. I mean, that takes a level of focus that is utterly, utterly terrifying. Though it does make a lot of sense that Stanley is capable of this because, he survived the petrification without losing himself, without losing his mind. That's not something your average person could do. Then we switch back over to our own Kingdom of Science, who are sending out a radio broadcast to the American Kingdom of Science, telling them, essentially, we come in peace, we're not going to surrender, but we don't want to go to war either. We just want to revive everyone and live a happy, healthy life with the entire planet. Not sure how much good that's going to do, but this is not a series that has things happen for no reason. It has things happen without a purpose. So I think someone's going to hear that radio broadcast and maybe end up switching sides. I could definitely see that happening. Anyway, then we switch over to Luna, and I am legitimately worried that this girl might have some severe brain damage. She is really, really, really stupid. At one point, she's adjusting glasses without even wearing it. Then she's wondering where Dr. Taiju is while he's standing right next to her. And I do just love that as she's trying to put together this picture of what Dr. Taiju is, what he looks like, the image looks a lot like Ryu. Weird. Now she's putting together everything about him. She realizes he's totally my type. And that she just has to find the guy that she's attracted to and have Stanley kill him. That is not good logic. I saw someone comment down below in the last video that maybe Luna's feelings and emotions would get in the way and then she would not go in for the kill because she fell in love with him. But no, it seems to be the exact opposite. She's going to find the guy that she is most in love with and then just kill him. Not good logic there whatsoever, but thankfully, the science team is really, really bad at hiding things. Even though they are completely aware of the fact that Luna is almost certainly a traitor, a spy that came in to get information and figure out who Taiju is, they straight up say his name right in front of her. And then, after Luna sees him running on the deck shirtless, carrying a 400 pound log like it's nothing, she's like, oh wow, this scientist is really strong. She doesn't at all doubt the fact that he is definitely the scientist, even after seeing that. I would start to see some holes in that logic there, but it just keeps getting worse after this. The ice cream is literally labeled with Senku's name on it. Come on! Anyway, then Senku pulls off his full charm and straight up asks her about all the information on Dr. X. And Yuzu, Jinro, Kirasami, they all looked utterly shocked that he just went with this absolute direct method, but they really shouldn't be. That's, who Senku is. He is the most direct person in the world. That's literally how he confronted Amaryllis when he first saw her. Back when they first got to Treasure Island and they saw Amaryllis, everyone's like, oh, what do we do? How do we discuss her? Should we follow her? What should we do? And Senku just went up and said, hi, how you doing? Can you tell me where the treasure chest is? Senku is not a subtle person. Anyway, then they decide to manipulate her, and the best way they can think to do that is with ice cream. Not gonna lie, I don't think that was all that necessary. They had, a full bar of fruity beverages on the way here. I'm sure they could find something that Luna would like. But no, they decided to make ice cream because, as they say, it's the last thing anyone would say they hate. And, I mean, they're not wrong. Oh, God, I miss ice cream. I've been with a stomach thing last few months, so I haven't had any. And I really want to lick my screen right now because it looks so freaking delicious. Oh, I miss ice cream. Anyway, so then they create it, and what should be a very simple process gets very, very complicated as they don't have any vanilla, because vanilla bean doesn't grow in the US. So instead they have to take bay laurel extract and boil it in sodium hydroxide and fuse it with ozone to create a vanilla essence, which, yeah, okay, I guess that works. And now they have soft serve ice cream, which again has Senku's name on the freaking cone. Also, how do they make the cone? That's a very important thing that they're just kind of glossing over. I mean, the designing a cone like that probably would have been harder than designing the ice cream itself, even with, experienced workers. I can't imagine that was easy. And why does it have to say Senku's name on it? What is the purpose of that? Anyway, then we see a foodgasm scene as they're all eating the soft serve ice cream, which, yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm gonna guess that Luna hasn't actually had any sugar since she's been revived. Or at the very least, her diet's been fairly restricted. Dr. X doesn't seem like the kind of guy to, go all out in preparing food for people to motivate them to work harder. Just doesn't seem his kind of thing. Anyway, at this point that Senku goes into a rather long speech about science. There's always a workaround for whatever we're lacking. Humans have been persevering like that for 2 million years, getting to the root of the raw elements that make up this world of ours, helping us create stuff we got no business having. That's the sweet side of organic chemistry. And as he gives this science speech, on top of the mobile lab, in the absolute best spot to be shot by a sniper, Luna still does not realize that he is a target, that he is the one that she's supposed to be after. In fact, she even says, nope, nuh-uh, I'm supposed to be into intellectual types. How is Senku not coming off as the intellectual type here now? And quite frankly, how is Taiju coming off as the intellectual type? I mean, seriously. Anyway, then thankfully she says the word elegant, and that's all Senku needs to realize that it's actually a former NASA scientist who was his old science mentor, even though he didn't recognize his name or his voice. So yeah, a chapter of weirdness. I mean, I'd say there's definitely a lot of stupidity going on in this chapter. They're completely aware of the fact that Luna's a spy, yet they aren't trying to hide Taiju's identity from her, or even make it look like Taiju's actually a scientist. I guess they don't know there's a sniper on the way, but they have to realize that eventually Luna's gonna report back, to her superiors and tell them what Taiju looks like. I mean, I get Taiju's, the stunt double, essentially, for Senku. He'll get her in Senku's place, but I mean, they have guns. They should realize that snipers could be a potential problem. Like I said earlier, I think that now that Senku knows who Dr. X is, he'll realize that sniping is probably the option he's going to choose at this point, and that Luna's dress is a sniping target, so he'll be able to use that to fool Stanley, and then either go for the counterattack or just fake Taiju's death to fool Stanley. Yeah, definitely gonna be an interesting chapter next week. Actually, the next chapter drops June 26th. That's Friday. So yeah, not a long wait before we get to see what happens next. So the chapter comes out Friday, so I'll probably have my reviews up Saturday. If not, then definitely by Sunday. Hopefully we'll also get a shot over at whatever the freak Sukusa's team is up to right now, because yeah, we haven't actually gotten an update them in a good 2 chapters, so we don't really know what they're planning, what they're doing, what their strategy is. It's been at least a day since they've left. I'm surprised they didn't run into Stanley in the woods. That would have been a very interesting interaction there. Yeah, but they're trying to break into the Kingdom of Science, capture Dr. X, while Stanley is trying to kill Dr. Taiju. I mean, yes, Dr. X has probably had more advanced technology and the frickin' sniper rifle, but in terms of deception right now, Senku's winning because even if they take out Dr. Taiju, which seems very, very unlikely, there's still Senku in the background, essentially plotting and controlling everything, so he'll still have the advantage, though I really, really doubt they're going to end up killing Taiju. I could see him getting shot, though. That is something to worry about. But please leave all this down below. What do you think is the relationship between Dr. X and Senku? Do you think if Dr. X knew who Senku was, he'd still be using these same methods? Do you think he'd be going easier on him because he considers him an ally, a friend? Or do you think he'd be going harder on him because he knows just how dangerous Senku really is? What's going on with the infiltration team? How stupid is Luna? Because there are a lot of clues that she is just not picking up on here. But she's still cute, and I love that she's in love with Senku. I really want to see where that goes moving forward. I mean, I'm assuming she has some sort of skill or purpose or something that could make her useful to joining Senku's science team. I mean, no one in the series introduced up to this point has been useless. They all have a skill, a use, an ability, something they're good at. I mean, Genro was very impressive during Treasure Island. He had skills, he had abilities, and he was able to put them to the test. He was able to prove himself there, so I'm assuming there's something she is good at that will be useful for Senku. But yeah, let me think all this down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video, on Saturday probably. And until then,
peace!